Hey, this is Dr. Jones, your expert in healthy lifestyle design. Now, today I'm going to talk about something that I personally do in my life. A lot of my health participants are actually implementing into their life, and it's something that is really cutting edge as far as the science. It's not for everybody. It's definitely not for everybody, but once you understand the power of this strategy, I think you'll also want to adopt this as one of the most powerful anti-aging and fat-burning strategies into your life for the rest of your life. So when I learned about this, it was several years ago. I was in school and one of my Ultimate Fighter MMA classmates, the UFC fighting, this is what these guys typically did. He said he was on the warrior diet. And I'm like, the warrior diet? What is that? And he's like, well, basically, I just wait to eat one big meal at the end of the day. I just crush myself at the end of the day. And he's like, and that's what I do. And I train hard throughout the day and this and that. And I was like, you're crazy. What are you thinking, right? Well, that was my first exposure to fasting. But the new science of intermittent fasting is actually quite practical for most people. A lot of people will say that it's really important to eat 3 meals in a day and eat snacks in between and start right when you wake up and finish, maybe an hour, 2 hours before you go to bed. And the new research actually is showing that that is not true as far as maximizing your ability to increase longevity and anti-aging pathways within your body. Now, if you're an Olympic athlete, this is a different story. Performance athletes, they have to do something different. But if you're wanting to really maximize the look of your skin, if you want to increase and skyrocket human growth hormone, then we really need to have you follow this intermittent fasting strategy. So what is intermittent fasting? The longest time you really ever fast for is around 36 hours. So nothing longer than that. And it's not something that I'm telling everyone to start 36-hour fasts like every single day. Typically the fasts are between 14 to 18 hours. So people would be eating their meals in the day between a 6 or even 10-hour period. So if they consume their meals within a 6 or 10-hour period, they're going to be fasting for around 14 to 18 hours when they're not eating. Now, what does this do? What's the science behind this? And is there any really legitimate studies that actually validate the power of this? Well, one of the things that it does is it actually upregulates some very, very powerful hormones in the body. In fact, research shows that by fasting in such a way, combined with exercising, and exercising typically on an empty stomach when you wake up in the morning prior to when you consume your food, or maybe later on in the morning before you eat your first meal, what you can do is skyrocket your human growth hormone levels up over 1,000%. So for women, the research shows that a 1,300% increase of human growth hormone is possible. And for men, it's up over 2,000%. Now, this is the research you can see right underneath this video. So if you're watching this on YouTube, go to drjones.tv to look at the research and look at the information underneath this video. Now, what's really powerful is that when you start implementing this, when you skyrocket human growth hormone level, you're actually also increasing insulin-like growth factor 1, which really turns on anti-aging pathways in the body. And if you exercise the way that we talked about in some of the other articles on drjones.tv, then you can also really skyrocket the telomere, which is the telomerase, which is the enzyme within the nucleus of your cells, so that you can really maximize the length of your telomere, which is the end of your chromosome, which will really help to determine the ability for you to decrease aging processes and decrease degenerative disease processes, etc. So that's really, really powerful. Now, another thing that intermittent fasting does is it helps to normalize insulin levels. The power of that is that when you normalize insulin levels, you're actually able to upregulate mTOR pathways within the cell. And I've got another, it's a article called The Single Fastest Way to Build Muscle Naturally within drjones.tv that talks about the mTOR pathway and how to maximally upregulate mTOR. But essentially, when you normalize insulin, mTOR is able to be maximized when you're working out. So intermittent fasting in combination of exercising on an empty stomach right before you already eat a meal is a really, really, really powerful strategy. So what I've done actually is I typically consume my food within an 8-hour time frame. So I may have breakfast at 10 o'clock and I'll finish eating by 6 o'clock or perhaps even 5 o'clock. So it's a really powerful way for me to actually start to fast during the time that I'm not eating. Remember that it takes around 6 hours for your body to start burning up your sugar stores, what they call the glycogen stores. So before you actually start to quote unquote fast and you get the benefits of fasting and you turn your body into a fat burner, which helps you burn fat, you have to really wait around 6 hours after the meal, which is why you want to be consuming your 3 meals within that 6 to 10 hour time frame. And what I do typically is 8 hours. Some days it's 7 hours, some days it's 6 hours, but most of the time it's around 8 hours. So here's another caveat. You cannot do intermittent fasting if you're following a standard American diet. You can't do it. You can only do intermittent fasting if you're eating healthy, lean, organic, grass-fed protein, if you're consuming good complex carbohydrates, a lot of fiber, and you're consuming a decreased amount of simple carbohydrates, the very foods that spike your insulin levels. So please, you cannot do intermittent fasting unless you're eating a healthy diet. And Renew is really the nutrition plan that you really want to be following. You can click the button on the side of within the website to learn more about Renew. But that's the nutrition plan, ideally, that you want to be following in order for you to maximize your health, to turn on fat-burning pathways, and to turn on anti-aging pathways as well. So remember, you're in control of your health, body, mind, and spirit. I hope this really serves you well, and we'll talk to you soon.